The latest from Wage War, Song of the Swamp, to kickstart Peach's Pit Party on this fine pre-Friday, aka Thursday, February 26th, 2026. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. I was reading here about this record-breaking roller coaster at Six Flags Over Texas theme park just outside of Dallas. They'll be debuting a record-breaking roller coaster this year, the new coaster, Tormenta Rampaging Run. It'll feature a 180-foot loop, speeds up to 90 miles per hour. It is the tallest, longest, and fastest dive coaster ever made, and it's actually 4 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty in New York City. Now, I don't know about you, but the older that I get, the less I want to go on extreme roller coasters. I don't know if it's because I'm afraid with the whole heart thing that I have with AFib and all of that's going to prevent me from ever going on a roller coaster ever again. I would say it's more so my height that would prevent me from going on a roller coaster ever again. I used to work at Knott's Berry Farm as a ride operator in Buena Park, California. I started out on the boardwalk. I worked bumper cars, Sky Cabin, and Wipeout. 3 basic rides. Sky Cabin was pretty fun. You would go like 200 feet in the air, rotate around, get a panoramic view of the park, come back down. You would say the same spiel over and over and over and over again at that job. It was horrible. Bumper cars was even worse. You had to like tell people, hey, your kid's too short to drive the bumper car. They have to sit passenger. You had to argue with angry parents because the parents were always, wanting their kid to be the driver of the car. But it's like, no, your kid's just barely below the height limit, the height requirement. And so then they get all mad and start yelling back at you. Being a ride operator is tough. And so after that, I got promoted to Boomerang, which that roller coaster is not even there anymore. It's now a new coaster called Hang Time, and I can never ride that roller coaster because you have to be 6'4" and below, which sucks. I can't enjoy a new roller coaster. Back then, I also couldn't fit on Jaguar. I wasn't allowed on Accelerator. Accelerator is one of those where it goes from 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. And it launches you right there at the beginning. So if that were to launch me, my head would go back, my neck would snap, and I would be dead. And there'd be a dead guy in Accelerator all strapped in and just sort of ragdolling the entire time. So this roller coaster to me doesn't seem fun. 180-foot loop, speeds up to 90 miles per hour. I feel like the biggest thrill for me right now is going 80, the speed limit on the highway. Anyway, Peach's Pit Party will return here in just a few on K-Bear 101. So I saw this image on my Facebook feed talking about how people are just now finding out there's a difference between the size XXL and the number 2 XL. They're not the same at all. I then looked up this article where it explains that XXL and 2XL are definitely not the same clothing size, even though many people, including me, assume they are interchangeable. And XXL is simply a scaled-up version of standard sizing, like extra large to 2XL, or actually, my bad, from extra large like XL to XXL, meaning the garment keeps the same proportions but is made slightly bigger overall. A number 2 XL, however, is typically part of plus-size sizing, which uses a different cut and pattern design for fuller body shapes, making it roomier in areas like the waist, hips, and chest. Because of this, a 2XL is usually about half a size larger and shaped differently than an XXL. The article also mentions vanity sizing, where brands adjust labels to make shoppers feel better about fitting into smaller sounding sizes. There's nothing worse than buying a 3XLT, and I think most of mine is XXXLT, not the number 3XLT. Is there a difference between that too, or is it just this? I'm so confused. Let's just move on here. Marcia Thornhill on K-Bear 101. I'm sitting here reading this story and immediately think, yeah, this is exactly why I don't trust animal heads on the walls. Antlers, I mean, they're okay. They're somewhat fine. The full deer head staring at me while I'm trying to eat like mashed potatoes, absolutely not. I don't want eye contact with dinner decor. This couple went out to eat, just trying to have a normal night. Suddenly, a big decorative set of antlers mounted on the wall at this particular steakhouse that I'm not going to name. It came loose, crashed down on them. And according to a lawsuit, the thing wasn't properly secured. Both people ended up with serious injuries along with what they describe as lasting mental stress afterwards. Are they going to develop the same kind of fear that I have of just hunted parts on the wall? They're now suing for damages, saying the place should have known that giant pointy wall weapons probably need to be bolted in like they're surviving an earthquake type of thing, right? This is like my nightmare scenario. I already don't like the mounted animal heads because they feel like they're judging you. Also, like, I don't know. They just freak me out. Really, they do. Even what's it called? Animatronics, like underwater. They call that submechanophobia. Another huge fear of mine. I got those irrational fears, and I particularly don't think this couple had that bad of injuries. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Maybe the person at the time was looking up for some reason, and then all of a sudden the antler comes down and pokes them right in the eye. Oh, still, I mean, it is the restaurant's fault for not having it properly secured, but at the same time, who hung it up in the first place when they were just opening the restaurant? Do they just have some like guy who's getting paid minimum wage to hang it up? Like, oh yeah, it would look great there, hang it up. And the teenager puts it up there thinking nothing of it. Sure enough, this happens. Again, what a weird story. I saw this headline pop up, but then it had quotation marks around the word banning. Florida airport is, quote unquote, banning flyers from wearing pajamas and Crocs. Yeah, well, it's not actually a ban. Like, you can't walk in wearing them and get kicked out or thrown in jail. It's more of a viral social media stunt from an airport account poking fun at how many people show up for flights like they're heading to a sleepover or the couch. The Post joked that pajamas and Crocs are officially unwelcome, saying travelers should say no to pajamas, and recalling a previous joke about Crocs. People online reacted hard. You had some people laugh. You had some people genuinely confused because they saw the headline and were immediately outraged, didn't even bother to read the article. There was that whole thing. Who was it? Like the head of transportation, the Department of Transportation. He was like, you should not be wearing your pajamas, sweatpants, and slippers to the airport. I'm not wearing my best suit on a plane. I've already talked about this quite a lot. There's no need for me to dress like it's 1935, put on my best suit to go on a plane where I'm then sardined next to particularly another guy in another tacky suit, maybe even a woman wearing like some like foofy dress just because we're forced to dress professionally on an airplane. Give me a break. In about a month, NBC will roll out their new Sunday night baseball games and programming. The network is expected to hire Jason Benetti as its play-by-play voice, and in a new twist, NBC plans to use local analysts in the booth with ties to the teams playing that week. Sports fans around the world complain about their owners, but some soccer fans in Italy took it to a crappy level. A group of Torino fans shoveled manure onto the doorstep of the team's training ground. They also put up a banner taking aim at club president and owner Italian media mogul Urbano Cairo, which reads, "Eat crap, Cairo." This season, the team lost 13 of their 26 games, or just 3 points ahead of the relegation zone, which is where they'd get relegated to a lower league. Yet another star quarterback is suing to stay in school another season. Virginia quarterback Chandler Morris has filed a lawsuit against the NCAA seeking a 7th year of eligibility after his request for a medical redshirt waiver were denied by the NCAA last month. Morris's legal team claims that he's due another year since the 26 snaps Morris played over the 3 appearances in 2022 when he was at TCU were a part of a medically prescribed mental health treatment plan. Morris's suit comes after Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, is that how you say it, was granted a 6th year of eligibility after the NCAA denied his request for a medical redshirt. Again, go to college to learn. If you're going on like 7, 8, 9 years of trying to play football just so you can make it to the NFL, I would say your chances are very, very, very slim. You have to be the one of the 1% to make it professionally. You have to be extremely good. And usually the star quarterbacks, they last like a year in college. Star players do the one and done. All right. If you're doing 8 and hopefully I can make it, yeah, you might want to stick to a major and get a nice career somewhere. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I was reading here about this high school teacher. He teaches 11th grade in Georgia. His name is Colton Major. He has gone viral for reading the wildest parent emails he has collected over the years. Some of them are about why is the Cold War named what it's named? It should be renamed. I saw another one about the parents didn't like how he was teaching World War II, I guess. One even panicked over a routine snow day email. So there's a lot of weird complaints out there, especially nowadays. When you go onto Facebook, you'll see people picking apart different tours that get announced. I just saw this St. Louis radio station, 105.7 The Point. They announced their lineup for their Point Fest, which I guess is like one of their biggest concerts in St. Louis, Missouri. And sure enough, all the people in the comments making terrible remarks about the headliner, saying they always treat it like it's a pick and choose buffet menu. It's like, get rid of this band, add this band instead. This band should be the headliner. It's like, no, what you're getting is what you see on the poster. Every single time I go to a concert, I'm so glad I brought this up because I've been contemplating sharing this meme that I created yesterday afternoon. I'm thinking I'll post it on my own Facebook profile. It's sort of pointing out what comments I get at every single concert, no matter what. It's always mostly about my height or why can't bands come to the area. It's like, let me call up Brent from Shinedown and see what's up. Like, heck if I know. It's like whatever gets booked is what gets booked. Like, we'll suggest bands to local venues, but whatever they decide is entirely up to them. So yeah, I think I might post that at some point this afternoon. But I don't want to get myself in trouble for sort of pointing out what gets said to me, and I feel like if I do post it, then people are going to be discouraged from approaching me at certain shows because they know I like to make fun of those things about like I thought you'd be taller, things like that, you know. Anyway, here's Breaking Benjamin Awaken on K-Bear 101. So there's this app. I think it's an app. I'm not exactly sure. No, it is an app. I'm reading here this women-only dating safety app called T. People share red flags about guys they've dated. Well, there's this new report coming out that there's now another company whose entire business model is helping men remove negative posts about themselves. The company says it's basically reputation cleanup. They claim they're targeting posts that are straight up insults or false accusations, not serious safety warnings. The founder literally said many complaints are things like, this guy smells, or body shaming comments that don't match the app's original purpose of warning about dangerous behavior. And here's where it gets messy. The app itself was created as a space for women to compare experiences and try to stay safe while dating. Users can upload photos of men, discuss behavior anonymously. Supporters say that helps people avoid cheaters or abusive partners. Critics say it can turn into public accusations with zero verification, and that's definitely true. Now, you've got guys paying a service to quietly scrub their names out of those discussions. According to the investigation, the business claims it's removed thousands of posts for hundreds of clients, even monitors the app afterward to keep new posts from popping up. Here's my honest reaction as a 29-year-old dude talking to other guys. Be careful. This is what happens when dating turns into crowdsourced background checks. Don't be dumb when sending a message. Don't be silly about it. Don't be just be cautious, because again, things online live forever, and I mean forever. Even if you delete them, people can still bring it up somehow, some way. It's weird how the internet works. All right, don't even come close to being a subject on that app anyway, and you're good to go, all right? Don't be a dirtbag, as Victor would say. Earlier this morning, Victor did the sounder twice for Make the Switch with Brent Gordon Law. If you're just now tuning in for the first time in a long time, we are once again giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 bundle thanks to Brent Gordon Law. Make the Switch. You know, we spring forward an hour, not this weekend, but the weekend after. We lose an hour of sleep Sunday, March 8th at 2 a.m. So I'm just warning you now in case you need to mentally prepare yourself for it. But yeah, We're teaming up with Brent Gordon Law to give away a Nintendo Switch 2 bundle. Listen for the Mario Sounder B-Color 20 when you hear it at 208-535-1015, and you'll score an entry into the drawing that way. You can also earn bonus entries by signing up through the K-Bear app, the Alt app, the Cannonball 101 app. Sign up once per app. If you've already signed up, you're good there. Just make sure to sign up at least once. Sign up once on all 3 apps, and that gives you 3 entries into the drawing right there. Listen extra carefully for that Mario Sounder because it might be coming up next hour. Just saying. K-Bear 101, I was chatting with my dad yesterday on the phone like I always do on my lunch break, and he was contemplating buying tickets for the Dodgers opening day game. And, well, he said the tickets were like $190 in the cheapest part of the stadium. And I said, well, I mean, opening day is pretty big when it comes to baseball. I don't think you would regret it if you actually bought tickets. Sure enough, he says, okay, I'm going to do something here real fast and I'll call you back. Sure enough, he hangs the phone up. He calls me back like 10 minutes later saying he bought the tickets. He bought 4 tickets for opening day for Dodgers baseball. I convinced him to buy tickets for a baseball game. I'm hoping he has a great time. He seems to be enjoying things more like that with friends he meets from his work and all of that. So that's pretty cool. But I was reading here about the Padres, the San Diego pitcher specifically, Matt Waldron. He might miss opening day after undergoing hemorrhoid surgery following an infection that actually landed him in the hospital for several days. The team says he's now considered week to week, which obviously puts his start to the season in doubt while he recovers. You got to respect how brutally honest baseball is sometimes. Other sports would call this like a lower body issue. Baseball just said, nope, here's exactly what happened. Full transparency, no mystery. It's kind of like when an airline says your flight was canceled due to weather, but it actually wasn't because they can't specifically say, hey, the pilot showed up drunk and he's not legally able to fly a plane. So we're just going to say it's the weather, you know? The guy's a knuckleball pitcher, this guy, Matt Waldron, which already means his career path is different than most. Those pitchers rely on feel and rhythm more than just the raw power. So missing springtime reps actually matters. It's not sitting out just a couple of games either. Spring training is where guys lock in timing before the season even starts. So maybe I should have included this in the Shot Clock Sports Update, which, by the way, you can hear weekdays at the top of the 3 p.m. hour on Peach's Pit Party. Let's play some Dayseeker right now, Pale Moonlight. I've been going on LinkedIn as of late just to see how bad it is from time to time. I like to do that every once in a while, but most recently I've done it more than just my average, okay, load up LinkedIn, see a few posts, then close the app. I keep seeing these posts all over LinkedIn where people act like building a resume requires a marketing degree, a branding consultant, 3 personality rewrites before you're allowed to apply for a job. It's exhausting. Most people are not trying to reinvent themselves. They just want honest work, steady pay, and something that they don't dread waking up for every morning. It shouldn't feel like you need to crack a secret code just to say, hey, I'm qualified and I want this job. That's why I actually like pointing people toward the local job boards instead of endless online advice threads. If you're looking right now, you got to visit the newly redesigned HireEastIdaho.com to find local jobs from local companies that are actually hiring people in this area, not just collecting applications into the internet void. You know how that feels. This week's Hire East Idaho Job of the Week is a licensed pelvic health physical therapist position at a physical therapy and wound care clinic in Rexburg. It's a full-time outpatient role with strong compensation, competitive benefits based on experience, continuing education support, and a workplace focused on balance instead of burnout. The job itself, hands-on, it's meaningful work, evaluating and treating patients dealing with pelvic health conditions, building individualized therapy plans using evidence-based techniques, educating patients through recovery, keeping proper documentation, working alongside other healthcare providers to deliver real patient-centered care. If you're a licensed physical therapist with pelvic health training and you actually want to see the impact of what you do every day, this could be a solid fit. You can apply now and check out more openings at HireEastIdaho.com. Hire East Idaho connects people with opportunity. It's always free for job seekers, and new listings are added all the time. No resume guru required. Obviously, we have talked about that story plenty of times on the air about the Blackfoot sheriff that freaked out because There was, I think, a few ding-dong ditchers that got him, And I guess as they were trying to run away from the front door, the guy did a whole bunch of crazy things, like pull a gun on them and that type of thing. So there was that whole ridiculous stunt. And now I'm looking at what just happened in New York City, this giant snowball fight in Washington Square Park that started amid a big winter storm, pulled the crowd together. The East Coast, the east side of the entire United States has been getting so much snow. Well, they've been making the most of it, I guess, over in New York. This whole snowball fight at Washington Square Park was apparently organized by social content creators. That alone is amusing. A snowball fight big enough to be news. Then it escalates because some people started throwing snow and ice at responding officers. Police ended up calling it an assault. And at least one 27-year-old man was arrested for allegedly pelting officers, with authorities saying injuries occurred. Videos show officers getting hit from all directions as people filmed and taunted them. And here's where the comparisons get interesting. In the Idaho case, in the Blackfoot case, the law enforcement officer escalated a situation that should have been calm. It became a serious criminal matter tied to an abuse of authority. In the New York case, the crowd escalated what should have been harmless winter fun into something that got people hurt, police involved. I mean, if you get something big enough and something rowdy enough, I guess it could be dangerous. But it is just, again, a snowball fight, all right? A kid hits you with a snowball, don't freak out. You laugh. You get a snowball in your hand, throw it right back at him. Well, I think I talked about this yesterday. I don't know if it was for What the Headline. I got so beyond mad yesterday afternoon. I had my whole show recorded for the podcast version. And, well, I accidentally deleted it. And sure enough, yesterday's podcast is not posted anywhere because of that. So I'm hoping that never happens again, and I can just continue to upload my shows whenever I do them. So I can't resort back to that episode, seeing if that was yesterday's What the Headline. I sort of shot myself in the foot with that whole thing. Well, to recap, this nearly 70-year-old man said the DMV over in New York revoked his vanity license plate, which read, P before we go. PB, the number 4, we go. It never caused any problems or offended anyone for 5 years. But in January, the DMV told them that the plate was no longer in compliance. With the help of some media attention, Seth appealed directly. The guy's name, Seth Bykofsky, appealed directly to the governor, and it worked. I guess the governor personally called Bykofsky to let him know he can keep the plates. She told him she thought it was hilarious and said, I think everybody should be reminded to pee before you go. I support the effort wholeheartedly. The guy, Bykofsky, said it was very heartwarming and good to know that the government stands up for our rights, not only under the First Amendment, but to laugh at ourselves and to laugh at others. I do like the headline here. Well, that's a relief. Get it? Because pee before we go. Anyway, that's today's What the Headline right here on K-Bear 101. Again, if there's one thing that I absolutely hate, it's micromanagement. I hate it with a passion. This particular burger giant, I'm not going to name their name on the air. I think I accidentally said it during Victor's show, so if you were tuned in then, you would know who I'm talking about. They're now testing AI headsets. Well, also, you could just look this up and see who I'm talking about. They're now testing AI headsets for employees that literally listen to conversations and track whether workers say things like, please, thank you, or welcome. The system, an AI assistant built into employee headsets, analyzes drive-through interactions, gives coaching feedback based on politeness and tone during customer conversations. It's currently being piloted in hundreds of U.S. locations as part of a bigger rollout planned through 2026. I can guarantee you most people are going to quit working at this place. There's going to be a whole article, maybe a bunch of articles that come out later this year saying, well, this restaurant miraculously saw a whole bunch of staffing just get up and leave. And the company says, this isn't surveillance, it's coaching. The AI is supposed to help with orders, inventory alerts, and customer service improvement while encouraging friendlier interactions. I can tell you, people are people, all right? I absolutely hated working at In-N-Out Burger. Hated it. Worked there for 3 years. It's not a terrible place to work. I just hated customer service, all right? I was working the drive-through, I was getting yelled at by managers that I needed to wash the dishes. Also, I needed to put on that fake smile and go, "Hi, how are you?" to customers. I hated it. But people are sometimes forced to work those jobs because they need the money. Very similar to what I needed. I needed the money badly. So I just put myself into gear, did it for 3 years, finally got myself out of there. I was so happy the day that I put my 2 weeks notice on that desk. Oh man, I slammed it harder than a judge with a gavel, dude. I just full on slammed that thing and said, I am done within 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks felt so long. And I hated working the drive-thru. I've talked about it many times too. When I would be taking somebody's order, doing the forced, "Hi, how are you? Are you doing good today? What can I get for you?" That type of thing. It's like they give you a script. It's like, "What can I get started for you today?" That's what you have to say. At least it wasn't one of those places where you have to say, "My pleasure," instead of "You're welcome." Like, that makes a difference. It's also like working at Disneyland when you have to point with 2 fingers. There's a lot of weird rules when it comes to jobs where you don't necessarily need those rules. And you definitely don't need these stupid AI headsets telling people what to do. Just let them do their job, all right? Let them make their money and move on. Peach's Pit Party with a day to remember all my friends. Before we get out of here, well, pretty soon I will be out of here. I want to pass along something really important happening in our community. The Frosty Footsteps 5K is coming up Saturday, March 14th at the Snake River Landing waterfront. This event is all about raising awareness for our local homeless community, helping provide real, tangible support for people who need it right here in the area, specifically Idaho Falls. Every dollar raised goes directly to the Idaho Falls Rescue Mission, supporting their programs and shelters. They help people find stability, resources, and also a path forward. It's not about competition with this 5K. It's about showing up, getting involved, and making a difference together. They're looking for participants, volunteers, and sponsors. So whether you want to walk, help out, or support the cause another way, there's a place for you, all right? If you want more information or want to sign up, head over to walkinthecold.com. That's walkinthecold.com. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.